All right. It is 9:04 p.m. Eastern Time down here in beautiful Sunnyside, Florida. All right. I'm not going to say exactly where I'm at, as you already know. I know it's going to take a while for some of you to arrive to the stream, but that's all right. That's fine. I'm completely okay with that. I know I'm pretty much starting from scratch on this channel. Hopefully, I'm able to kind of like I don't know how you would say this, but cause some type of exodus from, well, not exodus, because I don't want y'all to leave my other channel, but hopefully some, if not most of you, will cross over from my main channel over there on Poach Center by your boy JDQ and cross over to this channel, which, I mean, this channel, I'll be completely honest, I've been wanting to do this channel for like the longest time. And as always, many hurdles and many obstacles to jump over or smash through, basically. Yeah, what's going on, Emily? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream, girly. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate the love and support, man. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, no, I've been wanting to do this this channel for the longest time, and if you noticed, the actual logo profile pic of the channel is me and somebody else. And that somebody else, I'm going to introduce him to y'all at some point, whether it be further down this month that's coming up or later on. He's going to be my co-host. And I don't know if you can listen or hear to the music I have in the background. That's actually one of my tracks that I produced and recorded like years ago. It's old music of mine. So if you've never heard it before, then now you're listening to it. And yeah, I did used to record back in the day. I used to make my own beats and all that good stuff. So basically, this channel and actually this stream is mostly going to be me explaining the channel away, what it's going to be about, essentially, what's going to be talked on about here or whatever. And basically, hopefully getting everybody prepared for what is to come throughout the lifetime of this channel, all right? So essentially, all right, this channel is mostly dedicated to anything related with, first of all, it is a Christ-centered channel, as I did explain on my other stream in my main channel. But although it is Christ-centered, and obviously, I never curse or cuss, period, but even less on this channel. and hopefully my co-host is respectful of that as well. I mean, he's not one to, be a trash mouth. He doesn't really cuss a lot. Yeah, he does sometimes, kind of get away with it or whatever here and there, but he's not someone that cusses like, loosely like that. So hopefully he'll be a little bit more controlled or respectful on the channel. But he's I mean, he is family. But I consider him to be one of my best friends, if you could even say that, because I mean, family is supposed to be people closest to you. So yeah, he's definitely that. And what we're going to be talking about on this channel is mainly and mostly, like music, right? In the Christian world. And at some point, we are going to evaluate the Christian music industry as a whole. And we're going to do some comparison, even though there's really no comparison, because for those of us who are in the Lord, we're highly aware that there is no competition between the music that people of God make to praise and worship the Lord versus secular music. There's just no comparison. There's no competition. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm going to have people at some point debate me on that or try to contest it or try to change my mind or whatever. But at the end of the day, God is who blesses us with the talents and gifts that we have and hold in our minds, hearts, and spirit. And, if we can sing, it's because God has gifted us with the gift of singing. And if we play instruments, like myself, I grew up in a Christian home, and my father was a musician. He was a singer. He had his own group, within the church. He also recorded back in his day. Big musician. Mostly on my dad's side. I mean, on both sides of my family, there's musicians, but mostly on my dad's side, there's a bunch of singers. There's a bunch of musicians. And so, to a certain degree, I was also gifted with, singing, playing instruments. I used to play the drums back in church when I was on fire for the Lord, if you will. And yeah, it's the Lord who blesses us and gives us those gifts, but they were given to us to praise and worship His name, right? And to lead others into praise and worship. Now then, we have the free will. It's kind of, it's a blessing and a curse, I guess you could say, but we have the free will to decide what we do with those gifts. You know what I'm saying? And then that's where you have that huge divide between people who choose to use their gifts, their godly given gifts, in a very greedy way, and kind of use it for themselves, and to kind of milk it for themselves. And that's where you have a lot of secular artists, and a bunch of them, like Katy Perry, if I'm not mistaken. She was, a pastor's daughter. She used to sing in the church, before she decided to use her talent and ability for the sake of the world, right? So, that's going to be one of the main topics of this channel, is pretty much kind of going through the music industry within the church, within the Christian world, and do some of those side-by-side comparisons, not really to kind of say, hey, my music is better than yours and that's it. No, we're gonna get in depth about it. We're gonna say why, in my personal opinion, all right, because these are gonna be my opinions. I mean, anybody can say their own opinion and they'll be valid, but I am going to kind of pretty much, you guys were not able to listen to that song at all because I was not sharing my screen. So give me 1 second. But as I'm doing this though, yeah, basically that's kind of it's gonna be the main thing. I mean, amongst a bunch of other stuff that we're gonna talk about, because we are gonna go in depth about other topics as well. I'm gonna be talking a lot about controversial subjects, that I'm personally into, that I know a lot of people might not agree with me on those topics. But, because I've been saving this channel for the longest time to talk about that type of stuff, it'll be nice. It'll be nice to see what are other people's opinions and what are the thoughts on those topics or whatever. And but yeah, I think now you can hear the song. Anyways, as more people show up, I want to be the first one to say that I'm extremely excited that even one person is on here right now. The lovely Emily Rose. There was some chatting going on back and forth throughout some time. Perfect. That's awesome. And I think Emily knows this, and other people too, that I've been wanting to do this channel and do kind of these types of topics, just because it's way more, it's easier and it flows more naturally for me to talk about these topics versus other topics that I usually tend to talk about on other channels. So that being said, I'm gonna give y'all a little background aside from what I was saying earlier, about myself, and overall the channel. So yeah, for those of you who didn't know, all right, I mean, if you know me from the other main channel, from the Coach Center channel on YouTube, then maybe every now and then I would kind of like briefly mention it. You know, I'm a pastor's kid. You know, my father was, like I said earlier, he was a musician. He was an evangelist for a while. Then towards the end of his ministry career, he was a pastor. And my grandfather, his father, was the same thing. He was an evangelist for a while, and then he was a pastor towards the end of his ministry career, if you could even say it that way. And so, yeah, you know, I grew up in a Christian household. I grew up listening to a lot of worship and praise music, you know, the old school Hillsong. And for those of you who are into that Latin or Hispanic worship music, Marcos Witt, René Gonzalez, Hermanita Rivera, just, you know, a whole bunch of either worship and praise singers or groups of the worship and praise and all that. So I grew up around all of that, and of course, you know, I played the trombone in school. Later on, I picked up the drums for church. And then later on, I went to technical school for sound engineering and recording arts, where I got my degree in that. It's one of those few things that I'm actually proud of that I achieved. Top of my class, you know, honors and everything. Am I doing that nowadays? No, not really. I use it to my own benefit, you know. But it's there for whoever wants to see it, I guess. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And you know what? I'm gonna wait for the song to finish because I am gonna talk about that a little bit. I'm gonna expand on that thought that you just brought up. But yeah, like almost every day, I'm not gonna lie, almost every day that I wake up, you know, I wake up completely just thankful, and just, I know it's gonna sound repetitive and redundant, but like grateful and thankful to God. Because I know it sounds silly, it really does, but I think about certain things. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like I woke up another day, right? And a lot of people don't want to think about this, but I tend to think about it every now and then. I'm like, yo, I could have been anything. I could have been that plant over there. I could have been that tree over there. I could have been, you know what I'm saying? I could have been an ant if God would have allowed it. I could have been a horse. I could have been anything in the world. And yet God, you know, he allowed me to be like me, you know, a human being who was blessed enough to grow up in a household that, you know, serves the Lord, a Christian household. And, you know, like these are things that I think about every now and then, that I have a hard time sharing with other people because it sounds crazy. You know what I'm saying? When you really sit down and think about it. But it's the truth. Like, you got to stop and think. Like, literally, God could have made you into anything. He could have made you into a bee. He could have made you into a butterfly. He could have made you into a horse. He could have made you into a monkey, a rhino, you know, whatever. But here you are, you know, you and me. He made us human beings. We have a brain to think with, even though most people don't use their brain, but he gave us a brain to think with. He gave us a spirit, you know what I'm saying? He gave us a heart, you know, feelings. He gave us a voice to praise and worship his name, and use our voice to lead others into praise and worship, and to talk about his greatness and all the wonderful things that he's done. But that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? We literally could have been anything, but here we are. You know what I'm saying? I'm in front of a computer screen talking into a microphone. You're on the other side, you know, listening to my voice and watching the screen, you know, whether it be on the phone or laptop or whatever. And here we are, you know, human beings with a capability to think, to talk, to communicate, to watch, to listen, and do all these wonderful, great things only because God himself decided it to be so that way. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy. That I know some of you like probably think I'm like, you know, I'm like high or smoking, but I don't do any of that. I've never done any of that. I'm trying to bring you guys to like a acknowledgement of how crazy, you know, this is, that we're actually here. We've been placed in this world, okay, on earth. And once again, not to sound redundant, not to sound like a broken record or whatever, but you and me could have been anything. Literally anything. We could have been, you know what I'm saying, a bug. We could have been a worm. We could have been whatever. We could have been literally anything you could think of, you know. Yet here we are, human beings with the capability of expressing ourselves, communicating, and so many other beautiful things that the Lord allows us to do. And I'm here to ask you, what are you using the God-given capabilities in your life for? Miss Julie Harmon in the house. Roll out that red carpet for y'all, especially for her. Thank you for sharing, both of you. Thank you for sharing the channel link and all that good stuff. I appreciate it. No, you good, Julie. You good. I appreciate that. I appreciate you stopping by. And it's really messed up because I really wanted to do this like earlier, like around 7:30, but stuff came up inside the house and I had to take care of it. And of course I had difficulties on my end setting up the channel and all that. But it's good to have both of you here. I really do appreciate the support. No, but it's the truth, yo. It's the truth, and you know, what I just asked right now is something that we should seriously think about. You know. Okay, cool. Tell her I'm sorry. But I wanted to get this stream out the way, and I tried to do it as soon as possible, and I tried to do it before she was going to do her stream. But you know, here we are. But I'm definitely gonna check it out afterwards for sure. So just tell her I said what's up. But yeah, ask yourself, all right, whether it be tonight or tomorrow, you know, ask yourself and really just kind of like have that self analysis. You know, like God made me into a human being. You know, how am I using God-given, you know, abilities? You know what I'm saying? Like the ability to communicate and all this other stuff that only human beings could do. How am I using that for His glory, or how am I using it, you know what I'm saying, for like the benefit of not only myself but benefit of the people around me? You know what I mean? But yeah, so that being said, all right, more from my background. So I already mentioned, you know, I used to do music, and that's where the tab that I'm sharing over here is from my old channel, right? Where I have my old music on, and I have videos on exposing the secular music world, and I'm not going to re-upload those videos onto this new channel. I'm going to leave it here for you guys if you want to check it out or whatever. But basically, the channel will have a lot to do with, you know, comparing music. Thank you, Jules. I appreciate that. Comparing music, talking about controversial topics, all right? And I will be, from time to time, talking about my personal experience as a pastor's kid growing up in the church world, and give you guys a little bit of an insight on how that was. Which honestly, I think I could do one of those like right now, one of those anecdotes, if you will, and to give you guys a little bit of an insight of, you know, the difference between being a pastor's kid and being a regular church member. I'm pretty sure some of you, if not most of you, are going to enjoy some of those stories, and they are 100% legitimate, and you could, yeah, you could hold me to that. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to go even further back and I guess talk about uh, my grandfather's testimony, which I'm gonna be completely honest. I might get some stuff wrong, only because I've heard it many times, but sadly, my brain, as some of you already know, sometimes isn't the greatest at soaking up information. Especially when it comes with like stories and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna try to do my best to tell like my grandfather's testimony in a nutshell. Of course, I'm not gonna be here all night, and then from there, I'll continue to talk about the follow everything that transpired after that and all that good stuff. But yeah, so long story short, right? Uh, grandfather from my dad's side. When he was young, living in New York, right? He, yeah, definitely appreciate that. Yeah, y'all gonna have to be patient with me and bear with me because, oh my goodness, I'm terrible with memorizing stuff. But yeah, he used to be. He was not Christian at all. You know what I'm saying? He had a different upbringing, and he used to go out dancing. Just regular, normal, everyday stuff. You know what I'm saying? The regular people like you and me, who aren't necessarily in the church, were into. You know what I'm saying? Going to the club and blah blah blah. And he at the same time he was an athlete. He enjoyed like running. He enjoyed boxing and all that. And he was an actual like legitimate boxer, right? And so he had his career in that. And once again, to cut the long story short, and I know at some point, eventually, further down the line, my dad's gonna listen to this stream. He's gonna be like, "Oh, you should have said this. You should have remembered to say this." But I'm gonna tell you guys what I remember. All right, so just bear with me. So at some point, okay, my grandfather was kind of like making his name known, right? And he was moving up the ranks or whatever. And he was scheduled to fight with somebody that I think if he would have won that fight, he would have kind of like been into that area of like fights where he would actually would have been making like decent amount of money from that point forward or whatever. And so, he was preparing for that fight. He was practicing, he was training, all that Rocky Balboa type stuff, right? And, out of nowhere, this lady one time just kind of like stopped by his house, I think. And this lady was a lady, what I'm saying, of the Lord. It was one of those ladies that was on fire for God, and it was easy for her to listen to God's voice. And so God led her to talk to my grandfather, right? And she paid him a visit, and she tells him, listen, God sent me to tell you that if you go to fight, that fight that you're training for, you are going to die in the ring. And it's up to you. If you want to go that route, you can die in the ring, or save yourself and just kind of like walk away from that fight, and that's all you got to say or whatever. And so she left, and once again my grandfather was not Christian. What I'm saying? He was not a believer. He was just a regular dude. So he was like, the heck? And it didn't bother him at first, but then like as he kept training for the fight, I guess like the voice of the Lord through her, kind of like resonated in his mind, and he was like, I don't know why, but for the first time, like I don't know, like I feel like for some reason that lady is like right somehow. So he took the advice or whatever, and something happened though, like along the way before he made that final decision of not doing it, to where he was practicing and training, And I think sparring with the partner, he hurt his nose or something like that. And he hurt his nose, and it got to a point where he didn't feel up for the fight. So he was like, okay, well, I just want to fight or whatever. And as life would have it, somebody else replaced him for that fight. Okay. Yeah, definitely, Emily. And so the person who replaced him in the fight died. So yeah, so my grandfather, he didn't fight. So the person who replaced him to fight the guy that my grandfather was going to fight died in the ring. So, my grandfather was like blown away and like, holy crap, basically. I'm paraphrasing here. I'm not saying that's what he said, but I'm paraphrasing. He was like, holy crap. That was, the lady said, like, came to be or whatever. And, like, obviously, you feel bad for the guy who took my grandfather's like spot or whatever, it sucks. But from that point forward, he went looking for this lady, and the rest is history, basically. He turned to Christ, got baptized, learned about the Bible, went to study the Bible, and a bunch of other things along the way. But yeah, from that point forward, my dad's side of the family, that's where you have like I think 5 or 7 of my uncles. They basically they grew up in the church, because of that, which includes my father. He's like the middle child, if you will. And yeah, they all became like musicians, like within the church, like yeah, I hope so. Yeah, that's very true, Emily. I never really think about it that much, but I hope so. That's what you just said is very true. But yeah, so from my dad's side of the family, is musicians, singers, preachers, evangelists, and obviously pastors, like my dad. And so obviously when it came to my generation, we were blessed to be surrounded by not only all that talent, but all that amazing, wonderful upbringing, because it was an amazing upbringing. I'm not gonna lie, I'm being 100% honest and true and real here. I would not have wanted it any other way. Now, a pastor's kid's life is a very delicate thing, man, because when you're a pastor's son, people around you, and even more so, people in church kind of like have these expectations, like for you, and they expect, what I'm saying, like, oh, you're the pastor's son, you gotta like behave a certain way, and you gotta, look out even more so than, the regular church member or whatever. And so, it didn't bother me as much. You know what I'm saying? At least not in the ways that people make it out to be. There were certain things that did bother me a little bit, kind of like the dressing and all that. Because okay, look, when you're a skinny little kid, okay, whatever, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? You got no cushion on the bum, all right? And you're over here wearing dress pants, which are like thin and almost nothing, basically. And you feel like the wooden pew, you know what I'm saying? It's like it bothers, and I'm like moving around, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could be wearing like jeans or something, because jeans are more comfortable. They provide a little extra cushion for the bum. You know what I'm saying? And it's little stuff like that kind of like annoyed me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But everything else, I didn't mind. Like some of the other things were a little annoying, like having to go to all the services throughout the week. You know what I'm saying? You had Monday of prayer. Tuesday was alternating men's or females service. Wednesdays, it was going to a house to provide a church service to a house, from someone from church or a guest that came to the church that wanted a service at their house or whatever. Thursday was Bible study. Friday was youth night. Saturday was a service out somewhere in town or the city. And then, of course, Sunday. So I'm not even going to talk about that. There's 2 services on Sunday. Bible school in the morning. A service right after it, and then it felt like an intermission. Like if you go to like a play or whatever, like if you go to like a Broadway type of thing, and they have that intermission where they give you like an hour or half hour or whatever to go to the bathroom and do what you got to do. That was kind of like a maybe 3 or 4 hour thing for us to like go to our houses, you know what I'm saying, try to take a nap, get up, eat, take a shower, change, and then be back at church later that night for the second service. So it was basically like a whole week type of thing. Now, if that was for a regular church member, right? Imagine being a pastor or a pastor's kid. You know what I'm saying? You had to be at these places earlier than everybody else. You had to stay later than everybody else. You had to wait until your dad was done talking with church members after the service. And you couldn't rush him. You couldn't be like, hey, I'm trying to watch my SpongeBob episode, ASAP. And he's over here talking to church members about something that happened to, the family or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't do any of that. You just had to shut up and wait. Basically, it's like, all right, well, if I make it to the show, then I make it to the show. If I don't make it, then whatever. I hope I left the recording, basically. But yeah, man, aside from all those silly little things, I really have nothing to complain about. You know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful experience. I would not trade it for the world. A lot of people can say what they're gonna say. They can say, "Oh, that was harsh," that could have damaged your childhood, blah blah blah. But in reality, it really did serve a purpose. You know what I'm saying? I probably would not have been the person I am nowadays if had it not been for that. So, I'm grateful for that upbringing. I really truly am. And I had a lot of great, beautiful moments in church. You know what I'm saying? I discovered that I could sing in church. I discovered that I can play the drums at church. I discovered that I like acting in church because I was in a lot of plays in church. So that was fun. And just so many beautiful things that happen along the way. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that I cannot, and I know for a fact I will never experience again if it's not for the same reasons, of being in church. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I will forever be grateful and thankful for my upbringing. And I think my parents handled it pretty well. Aside from having to be at all these places all the time, and not to mention, you know what I'm saying? For example, because I was a musician, I had to be at the rehearsals as well. So that's more time that's being taken away from me. But, I gladly did all of that because I truly did genuinely enjoy every bit of it, when I had to rehearse with the people that were going to sing on the devotional or whatever, I would, I would enjoy it. I'd be excited, I'd be happy, to play or whatever. And if ever I had to sing with the worship team, I would enjoy that too. It was honestly, I think some of my best years in my whole life were spent pretty much that, in church. Most of the beautiful moments of my life were spent either at church or at a church type event or had something to do with church, And yeah, man, I really honestly would not have it any other way because, my parents, aside from everything, because let me say this, when you're a pastor's kid, your parents, especially your father, is taking away a lot from you. Because if he's an evangelist, you know what I'm saying, he's like on the road like throughout the week or whatever, and that's not even counting the normal regular day job that they have to perform. You know what I'm saying? My father was a manager at so many places. He was a manager at Baker's shoe store. He was a manager at KB Toys. He was a manager somewhere else. So he had his day job that he had to do, to provide a living for, the family. But then right after work, he would have to leave to go like preach somewhere or give a Bible study somewhere or whatever it is that he was going to do that day, So he was rarely around the house in that aspect because he was busy working for the Lord. And my siblings and I always understood that, and we were never mad at him about it. We never held any grudge, against my father or my mother against, because of that. My mother took very good care of us, growing up. She basically, fulfilled like whatever role needed to be fulfilled, whenever he wasn't around. So, yeah, my mom, like whatever had to be done, and my father wasn't around, like my mother would definitely take care of it, period. No questions asked, Oh, Jorge's got a dental appointment. Well, there goes mom, like getting things ready for the dental appointment. Oh, David's got a basketball practice. Oh, well, there goes mom getting David for the basketball practice. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think they did a phenomenal job at balancing everything. And I'm so proud of them because I honestly don't know I would have handled things if I was them, Let's see, Emily says, your childhood sounds like a dream come true to me, but God had different plans and that's okay. I'm glad you had those wonderful experiences. Oh, for sure. For sure. And here I am today. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. Maybe at this very moment, I'm not on fire for the Lord like that, like I was at some point. But that is the goal, and I know eventually that'll be happening soon, whether it be this year or however soon God kind of like forces it to be. Because sometimes God does have to force things, not in a disrespectful way, but sometimes He allows things to happen in our life for us to kind of like recapacitate and be like, oh man, like I can't be living like this anymore. I got to correct myself. I have to, like align myself with God and like His word and everything. I know I'm doing things wrong. I have to, I have to reconnect with God. And it's getting to that point with me over here, man. But yeah. Yeah, for sure. Julie says, I have different experiences for sure. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, bro. Pretty much. She did a great job, man. Like, it's crazy because I know at some point she was also working as well. But obviously, she go to work, but come back and deal with us or whatever. And so, yeah, I have no complaints about any of that area. I don't think I could ever find anything bad to say about that side of upbringing. Whenever my dad did have the time, that he wasn't like out there preaching or doing evangelism work or whatever, he would take the time to, take us to the basketball court or the baseball field or the movies or, whatever it was, to kind of like let us know like, hey, I know I haven't been around, but I'm around right now. And so we're going to make good use of time. We're going to try to have fun. We're going to try to bond and all that good stuff, So, yeah, there's absolutely no complaints whatsoever around that, surrounding that whole aspect of my life. I'm beyond grateful for my upbringing. But yeah, so that's a little bit of like the anecdotes of like of being a pastor's kid, you know what I'm saying, growing up. I'll get into more specific stories at another stream or whatever. But basically, you know, that's kind of like a little bit of an insight of how it is, you know, like when you're a pastor's kid. And I know other pastors' kids that have had like actual bad, you know what I'm saying, experiences or like worse experiences. And it sucks, you know, but I was blessed enough to be within a household that, you know, was able to balance itself out and do things as best of their abilities and you know, make sure that my siblings and I were not, you know, forgotten or like not taken care of or, you know, not given the time of day or whatever. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, so that all that being said, and I'm trying not to like bore you guys or you at this point because I think I only see one person now. Not to bore you, but hold on. Unfortunately, so good to you. Yeah, for sure. Yep. I mean, there's always, you know what I'm saying? There's always both sides. You know, there's people who have bad experiences with that type of upbringing, and you know, and then there's me. Oh man. But yeah, so that being said, all right. One of the reasons why I strongly believe in talking about the Christian music world and versus the secular music world is because, you know, I want to remind people, you know, that there are options. There's options out there, you know what I'm saying? Like there's literally so many different types of Christian music out there, right? And I have to say Christian music because there is a separation between, you know, music that is truly Christ-centered and music that is just can't be any further away from being Christ-centered. And we all know those types of music or songs when we hear them. You know what I'm saying? Mostly it will have to do with the lyrics, mainly the lyrics. Everything else, you know what I'm saying, it could be whatever it is. But when it comes to the lyrics and the meaning of the song and what that song is pretending or trying to achieve, all right, that's when you'll know, like, okay, this is Christ-centered and this is not. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because we live in a world, all right, where sadly nowadays the generation that's being brought up, the influence through social media and a bunch of other platforms is bombarding the minds and hearts and spirits of this generation that's coming up, you know, and it's not being bombarded by anything good, you know, at least not for the most part. For the most part, you know what I'm saying, we're having like a heavy level of topics that, you know what I'm saying, I'm not even going to mention some of them right now, but it's just, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about because I can pull up a tab and just show you an image of what I'm talking about, and you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah. I don't really have to say much, but we all know when we see it, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's things that is going too far, you know? Too far, when I say that, I mean too far against like Christianity, too far against God, too far against everything that's holy and wholesome. You know what I'm saying? So I figured, you know, to use this channel to talk about those things and to talk for what's good and right and righteous. And yeah, and just share my personal opinion, my personal experience, and hopefully talking about those topics will help you make your own educated decision on, you know what I'm saying, like what to lend your ear to, what to watch, what not to watch, what not to listen to, what's going to benefit you, what's going to benefit your mind, what's going to benefit your soul, your spirit, your heart, you know what I'm saying, because what we watch and what we listen to a lot of times help us become better versions of us or worse versions of us, right? And to kick off tonight's stream, even though it's been like 45 minutes, but to kick off tonight's stream, right? I'm gonna play back the song that I was sharing with you guys, right? And once again, it's one of my own old songs that I wrote. Okay, I made the beat on my own. I wrote the lyrics on my own. I recorded everything, the vocals and everything, by myself on my own. And so I'm going to share that song with you guys. I'm actually going to share the intro because it's in English, and we're gonna review my song. All right, and yeah, hopefully it's fun for you guys. Hopefully, yeah. Hold on, give me 1 second. I know some of you have already heard some of the stuff already, but I mean, this is what the channel's about, right? So let's do it. All right, so this is one of my old channels, right? Y'all can go there if y'all want to. You don't have to, but all right. So right now I have to. I don't know if I have it on the playlist. I should have it on the playlist. No. Where are you? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, here goes the intro.
In a world where mankind is constantly upgrading their lives, their knowledge, their possessions.
One of the hottest, Tony.
And I made that album art myself too.
Join me on this journey to downgrade to a better time. A time where morals still existed. A time where values still stood firm. A time where loving God above
that beat I didn't make. I used that beat.
Sometimes
it's not mine. That's why I never released the album.
Revelations
that beat is not mine.
For the Mark, chapter 12, verse 30.
TV shows, programming minds, one of many signs that we're losing time. The digital age is not a crime, but its misuse is out of line. None of our stats are on the screen for the world to see. Where you at, where you'll be, what's the best time to rob you clean? Pornographic chains, so present, so many slaves. Even some teens can't escape it, that's just their day to day. That's just the heavy truth. That's why I'm in the booth, to tie your mind that's loose. If you keep it together like glue, that's how we Christians do. See, no matter what you choose, see, when you're lost, can't find the way, we'll share the only clue. And the only clue we giving is the one that we believe in. Yes, the one that we've been preaching. Yes, the one you not receiving, the gospel.
Jesus warned us about the end times. He warned us not to be deceived. Technology is not a sin until we make it our God. Do not allow technology to take God's rightful place. Let us return to a life of values, a life close to God, which is mankind's first love. Follow me to that place and time where God and His creation were bonded in His love. For it was our destiny to begin with, but we have paid for ourselves a path to destruction. Just as in the days of Noah, this is the final call to repentance and to humble ourselves before Jehovah, to receive eternal life and salvation before it's too late. Seek for God.
We're in the final day, so you better make a choice today. Yeah, I'll say it all again. We almost at the end, so think ahead, my friend. Why would it make no sense for a king to leave his kingdom just to die for man? The truth is we all need him, yet we never truly seek him how we should. And they complain that he will always seem to ignore us, yet we always have before us the fact that he has loved us before. Our mothers had it, then it's waiting for our answer like a gentleman. He's gentle, doesn't force us to receive him. Technology's a tool, so my faith will be a fool, cause Jesus coming soon. In the clown, he's super gold. Say no to new age laws, say yes to Jesus' call. Reject the simple mind, accepting Jesus Christ.
If you have heard this intro and you want to receive Christ as your Lord and Savior, pray this prayer with me.
Oh, no doubt. And
say, dear
thank
Lord,
you for your words. I appreciate
Jesus,
that. And
I
I
know
completely
that I
understand.
am a sinner.
Don't feel
and
bad.
I ask
I'm saying
you
family and
for
friends
your forgiveness.
do come first.
I believe you died for my
appreciate
sins
you even
on the
being honest.
cross and rose from the dead. I turn from my sins and invite you to come into my heart and life. I want to trust and follow you as my Lord and Savior. In your name, amen. This has been TLP, the Living Poet, reminding you to seek for Christ above all. These are the end times.
Man, I have not heard that intro and song like in such a long time. It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, not to say, man, because listen, I'm gonna be completely honest. I appreciate that. God bless you too. And yeah, have fun over there. You know what I'm saying? Have a good time. And yeah, definitely, you know, you can check this out afterwards when you get back. But yeah, thank you, Jules. I appreciate that. Yo, that intro, I had a lot of fun with that intro, man. Thank you, Jules. I really do appreciate that, honestly. I had a good time making that intro because it panned out how I wanted it to pan out. Like I wanted to do like a little bit of like preaching inside the intro or whatever, and like the way I had envisioned it is the same way I executed it. And there's very few times in my life where I actually execute something the way I have it in my mind. So like when I heard it afterwards, I was like, oh snap, it's nice. Like I you know, it's not perfect. You know what I'm saying? It could have been better quality, but mind you, I was recording this in my grandmother's house in PR. All right. So the vocals are not going to have the greatest quality. All right. So I did the best that I could with what I had at the moment. Right. So, but that being said, man, even with that, I think, you know what I'm saying? Like with what I had to my disposal, I think I did a pretty good job, man. And that's not me bragging. That's me like saying, hey, you know what I'm saying? Even with a bunch of hurdles that I had in front of me, I think I did as best as I could. But yeah, that intro, man, like at some point I hope to like re-record it and or I don't know, like fix it or whatever and just make it a little better. But that album is out there for free. Like when I say for free, you could download, you know what I'm saying, like the song right now using like another website or whatever. And y'all could have it. Y'all could keep it like wherever you want to keep it. You want to keep it on your computer, you want to pass it on your phone or whatever, you can do that. Because I never made music to sell it. I just made music just to like bless people with it. You know what I'm saying? I never looked at it any monetary type of value. I just kind of like, I did it. And I'm like, well, Lord, whoever listens to this, hopefully they're blessed by it. You know what I'm saying? Amen. Jules, I think I'm not going to do it right now, but I know for a fact that if you're on your laptop and you go to, if you go to Google and you go to YouTube to mp3.com or something like that, you can like copy the link of this song or this video or whatever, and you can paste it into that website, and it'll convert the video into MP3 audio or whatever you choose, like WAV or MP3, and then from there you can, you know, do whatever you want with it. You can put it on your phone, you can put it on your laptop or whatever. And that's one of 3 songs that I have out. All right. And to review this song, this intro, right? Because I have to review it, right? Basically, all I'm trying to say is, you know, oh, let me take this out. All I'm trying to say with that intro is, you know, mankind has allowed technology to drive them away from the relationship with God. Now, listen very closely, because this is where I have to really explain myself. Technology is not bad. Technology is a blessing, depending on how you use it, right? Technology has been around us for like the longest time, right? Whatever type of technology you can think of, whether it be radio, whether it be television, whether it be the internet, whatever, right? So it's been around mankind for a while now. But the problem is that people who do not use this tool that was provided to us, right, and that God allowed mankind to build, all right, to be of a blessing instead of a curse, right, have gone through a lot. Now, let me go and expand on that. If I know for a fact that watching television, right, consumes a lot of my time, and that time that I'm consuming watching that TV show or whatever, you know, is taking away from my time from God, right? For example, I'm going to give you a good example. Let's say on a Sunday like today, right? I didn't go to church because I stayed home watching, like binge watching a TV show or like movies or whatever. Well, there I'm using technology against myself because I could have gone to a church and gotten, you know what I'm saying? I could have been blessed through like a sermon or a preaching or whatever, but I decided to stay home and just kind of like do my own thing and not give God the time that he rightfully deserved, right? And then, of course, that's just one example. There's so many different examples out there, right? For example, the phone. Our cell phones have so much capability. They are a literal computer in our pockets, correct? All right. Well, that being the case, we have so much freedom in that computer in our pockets that it is scary, okay? It is scary what we can get, with the trouble we can get ourselves into if we do not use that pocket-sized computer, right, the right way or correctly or whatever. Like, you know, you could easily search up anything, you know what I'm saying, and corrupt your mind. Or you can look for the right things and bless your mind. You know, the choice is yours. The options are there. The technology gives you that freedom to do, you know, as you please. But what will you decide, right? So the intro, right, of this album that I was working on, and I never finished because, you know, truth be told, like, I was hoping to get a few other people on the album with me, but it just never happened the way I wanted it to happen, and a bunch of other obstacles. But this intro, right? All I'm saying with the intro is we have to find a way to disconnect ourselves from technology a little more to be able to reconnect with God a little more, or a lot more, if that makes any sense. So the album is called Downgrade because it seems like every time we upgrade our technology, we're like running away from God just more and more. So that means if every time I upgrade, I'm pretty much like harming my spirit because I'm detaching myself from God a little more, then the opposite should be correct, right? If I downgrade the use of the technology that surrounds me on a 24/7 daily basis, right? It should give me that extra time that I should deposit into my relationship with the Lord, right? So that's why the album, I titled it Downgrade, because it's kind of like saying, like, listen, detach yourself from technology just a little bit, downgrade back into a life that reconnects with the Lord, you know? So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Yeah. Yep, definitely. That's a very, very right, spot on with that one. Technology seems to distance us from everything, including prayer and real life in general. So, yep, definitely. But yeah, so these are the things that we're gonna cover, you know, on this channel. Right? We're gonna cover songs. We're gonna cover lyrics from different songs, different artists. You know, I'm gonna give you guys pretty much like a background of my upbringing in music, you know what I'm saying? Like what I used to listen to as a child and what that turned out to be later, or how that evolved as I grew up. And then we're going to talk about, well, I'm going to talk about why I chose the musical path that I chose along the way. Now, you good? Yeah, I know what you meant, Julie. But anyways, it's about to be a whole hour, and this was just kind of like supposed to be like an explanatory type of like a brief thing of like what the channel is going to be about, basically. Right. So there's going to be controversial topics. There's going to be comparisons within the music worlds, like secular and Christian music world. There's going to be talks about my upbringing in church. There's going to be talks about my upbringing in music, and just kind of like reviews on different singers and songs and different genres and all that. And yeah, I'm going to have my co-host with me eventually at some point. But I've learned the hard way that sometimes you just have to like start things. You can't wait to be ready. You cannot wait to have everything you need. You cannot always wait for everything to be good to go to then like start. Sometimes you have to just start. So here we are tonight, starting this new channel. I really do hope it's a blessing for you guys, and hopefully every minute that I spend on these streams or whatever video I upload along the way really becomes a tool and a weapon in your arsenal. All right, whether it be in the spirit realm, whether it be in your regular day-to-day life. Hopefully this channel serves as a blessing to your spirit, your mind, and heart. Right. So for those of you who were able to stop by, like Julie and Emily, thank you for stopping by. I really do highly appreciate it. And for those of you who will eventually come across this video, hopefully it was a blessing to your life. Right. And I will definitely see you guys soon at some point throughout the week. So keep your eyes peeled and make sure you hit that notification bell for your boy JDQ. And I don't know, I've been thinking about kind of like doing like a subtitle type of profile name and just saying, I don't know, something like JDQ Unleashed or JDQ Unhinged or I don't know, something along those lines. I think it's something nice and slick. But anyways, see you later, Jules. Thank you for stopping by. And God bless every single one of you guys who come across this video afterwards. All right. Peace out. Love y'all. Stay blessed. Stay safe. And peace out.